Dude, why the hell would you buy a 146 turbo sled? That thing is gonna be useless. You're gonna be able to go nowhere. Wheelies in the meadow, it's all you're gonna get. So stupid. Hey YouTube, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to cover why we went with a 146 freeride turbo. So the main reason we went with the 146 turbo is way more because of the tunnel than the track length. What a lot of guys I think are going to do this winter is they're actually going to end up throwing a 54 under this 146. And you're probably wondering, why would you do that? Why, if you wanted a 54 track, then just order a 154 freeride? Well, I think the big reason is throwing a 54 under these sleds is now you have a super short tunnel. You have not much back there for drag and just hang up in snow. I think that's one place where my Polaris does really well. Is the Polaris tunnel is tapered and narrowed at the back versus the Skidoo. The Skidoo more is just, yes, it's short, but it's still full width and no taper at the back at all. So I think having a 154 under this 46 will be a super awesome setup. And then in the springtime, you throw the 46 back under it for some of you guys that like jumping, stuff like that. I think that'd be super rad. There is going to be guys that are just going to run the 146 all winter long and are going to be fine. The one thing I would say is they're going to pretty much be able to get everywhere a 154 gets, but it's just going to take more effort and frankly more skill to get to the same areas. Being a 46 versus the 54, you just have less track in the snow, and on the steeper slopes, there's just less holding you there versus a 54. So they're going to have a little bit more washout. And having so much power in such a short track is that front end's always going to want to come up, and you're just going to be constantly trying to push it downhill. So it'll be fun, but it's going to be a handful. But anyone that is up for the challenge, I don't think they're going to have any regrets. So the second reason I went with this sled is way more of a freeride feature than a 146 turbo feature, and it's because of the suspension. Finally, Skidoo has come out with a legit, aggressive, beefy shock for their riders. I've always found in the past that Skidoo has been really lacking in their suspension, and I think this year that they might have finally knocked it out of the park. These things are a bit beefy. We did get out on one ride this winter and whooped out trail. They just ate it up. Obviously, you haven't really done any jumping or anything like that this year, but you can just tell that these things dampen really well. So I'm super excited for that, and I think that for those aggressive riders, that this might be the first OEM suspension that, even for the guys that are, doing some pretty good jump stuff like that, that I think these things are going to be fine. I'm hoping that you won't have to spend, $25,000, $30,000 on a sled and then spend another $4,000 or $5,000 on suspension. I'm really hoping that these things will be just fine. So obviously we're going to run these this winter and see how it goes, and I'm super excited for that. So the third reason I went with this sled is the skid. Finally, Skidoo has gotten rid of the T-motion in the Expert and the Freeride. It's a full rigid skid, no more pivoting arm, and I'm super pumped for that. One thing with riding Polaris last year is, with how their geometry is, I don't know if it's just a skid or just the whole chassis itself, but it's really good and technical terrain. It doesn't wash near as much as Skidoo does. It's really predictable. Like, it is harder to get on edge than a Skidoo, I find, but once it's there, it's way more precise. And I found the Skidoo before always were kind of like, you're always fighting to kind of keep it there. So yeah, so this year Skidoo's went with full rigid skid, and that was another big reason to go with the freeride over like an X or something like that. And I guess kind of piggybacking off that, kind of go hand in hand, is on the freeride they have a 15 wide track, full rod. So putting more rigidity. Oh boy, I'm gonna butcher that. We have to cut that. But more rigidity. Oh god, it's stiffer in the back. So yeah, 15 wide track, full rod. I'm super pumped on that. Kind of excited to see how that handles compared to the 16 wide. And yeah, that was just kind of another cool little thing that they do different on a freeride versus expert. And I guess the last kind of reason I went with this sled is actually the color. I think it looks really awesome. I'm kind of a sucker for teal, and yeah, it's just super cool, I think. Can't really think of a teal sled in previous years of any brand, so I think it's super cool. Really like the color with kind of the cherry spindle and rails and stuff like that. It looks really good, and the teal skis, I think they look sick. I've seen some guys put some pretty cool wraps on these things, and they look sharp. And I guess another thing I want to say too is I think it's pretty cool that in the last couple years, both manufacturers or main manufacturers, they're actually different. You're actually buying the sled more on the actual model than the color, if that makes sense. I think the last, few years, you used to be able to buy more. I want the freeride versus the expert because the freeride's color scheme looks cooler than the expert, but there wasn't really much difference between the two sleds. Where now I think that there's X, expert, freeride. Well, all three of them sleds are a little different, and they're all geared towards a different rider and different terrain and just different styles, right? So I think that's super cool. Polaris is kind of doing the same thing too. They have some actual legitimate physical different features and handling features on different models of sled instead of just, oh, well, I want that model because I like that color better. And I think, anyone that's looking at some of these new sleds that haven't bought one in a while is definitely do your research on, where you ride, what your riding style is, and what you want to do with that sled, because they are all a little different. And as much as the opportunities it gives you to make the right choice on a model is now actually having some differences, it also gives you as much opportunity to make the wrong choice. So definitely do your research. Don't just base your decision off, I like that color on that model better, so I'm just going to buy that color. So, and honestly, we were not supposed to have a Skidoo this year. We were just going to run a 23.9R all winter long and cross our fingers that thing would run and make it through the winter, because last year we didn't do so good with it, and it's a bit of a horror story. So hopefully it's fixed now, and hopefully we make it through all the winter with that thing, because I actually really enjoy that sled. But that being said, I'm really excited to ride this thing and just hop back and forth between the two sleds and just see where one does better than the other and see which one lasts better and holds up better. So that'll be super cool. There was a lot of betters in that last sentence. Time to wrap it up. We're slurring our words here. So yeah, guys, that pretty much wraps it up. We are off to a slow start, which I'm sure most of you are probably experiencing. Not too much snow is fallen yet, so hopefully Santa brings snow and sled parts for all you guys these holidays. And same as us, we're just gonna get through the holidays, probably head to the hills right after Christmas and get riding and get lots of content to you guys. So super excited about that. But this will probably be the last video before then, so hope you guys all have a great holidays. And who knows, maybe we'll see you guys out there on the snow. So as always, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.